And once again, it's time for us to chat about James Gunn and his way of changing character origins, something he does quite a bit, whether it's at Marvel or now at DC. Recently, he talked about Wonder Woman's origins, specifically the part where she was made from clay, and that made fans of the character pretty worried about her future in the DCU. After all, how far can a character's origin be altered without running into criticism? Is it best to stick with what's already been established? This is a pretty complex topic, but in this video, I want to share my opinion on it and also discuss with you guys did James Gunn miss the mark again? Let's talk about it. So it all started on social media where Gunn shared a video about Brainiac and mentioned that he thought the video was really cool. Does that mean he shared it as a hint that Brainiac could be the villain in Man of Tomorrow? I'm not sure if it's really a hint, but the key point here is something else. James Gunn didn't just praise the video, but he also agreed with the creator who talked about the flanderization of fandoms. Many fans believe that a certain aspect of a character is the only true version, usually depending on when they first encountered those stories. He cited examples like the yellow symbol on Batman's chest, the all-powerful Superman, and Wonder Woman being made of clay. He concluded by saying, "This can diminish how we enjoy stories that deviate from what we expect." Right? Just from that statement, James Gunn stirred up some controversy among fandoms again. But is he wrong on this one? Hold on, I'll share everything I think, but first, let's understand his opinion. First off, I want to explain what the term flanderization means for those who may not know. It comes from the character Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. When the show started, Flanders had several characteristics, but one that stood out was his religiosity. Over the years, that trait got so explored that Flanders became a prisoner of it, and his other traits got sidelined. That's flanderization. Now, moving on to the context of the video that James Gunn praised, the flanderization in fandoms is what the creator of that video mentioned. That's why the use of the term flanderization in this case is in quotes. It's not the true use of the term, it's an adaptation to make it easier to understand. In this case, fans had their first encounter with the character, usually in childhood, and that version becomes the definitive one for them. That sort of makes sense in some cases, but I wouldn't say it applies to all characters. Personally, I think Batman the Animated Series is my favorite Batman, and that's indeed because of my childhood, since it was my first encounter with the character. James Gunn's argument is that once we have a definitive view of a character, we can't enjoy the changes that happen in other media like comics, animations, or films because we always want the version we have in our heads. According to Gunn, that's a problem in superhero comic fandoms. Regarding this, I wouldn't say James Gunn and the video he liked are wrong. Like I mentioned, my definitive version of Batman is from the animated series. We said it was my first encounter, and that was in childhood. But in my case, even though I also watched Superman the Animated Series back in the day, he's not my definitive Superman, even though I like that version a lot. However, as fans, we need to understand that these characters have been around for decades. Pretty soon, Superman and Batman will be 90 years old, and if they've had all the success to get here, it wasn't because of an unchanging version. After all, today's heroes are very different from the ones back when they first came out. So in this case, James Gunn and the cited video are right. We can't be so annoying as to consider only our favorite version as a valid one while dismissing everything else. Take Batman movies, for example. There's no version that doesn't get criticized. You can have your favorite Batman, but the others don't need to be bad just because they're not what you wanted. You don't need to hate Christian Bale's Batman to be a fan of Robert Pattinson's Batman. These iconic characters are historical figures that have remained relevant over the decades because writers have managed to update them with great stories, comics, animations, films, and in some cases even games like Batman Arkham. This stems from the freedom that writers had to work with these characters. We as fans can't confine a character to a set of rules and expect those rules to be followed strictly because breaking one or another aspect can lead to a fantastic story. But there's a catch. It all depends on the scriptwriter's level of skill, their talents in justifying the breaking of certain important character aspects, and how well they can weave that into the script. I agree with the argument that as fans, we shouldn't let our preferences cloud our understanding of what the creator wants to convey with a story. However, there is a certain limit to how much you can alter a character. Batman, for example, has two fundamental rules. no weapons, and no killing. Are there instances where Batman uses weapons? Yeah, there are. Are there situations where he ends up killing, even accidentally? Sure, but the general rule must be respected. If that's something that's been part of the character for so long that has become crucial, part of the core of the character, you can't just change that whenever you want. To justify change, a strong argument is needed. Even if it's a really good argument, you still risk facing criticism for making the change. Of course, there are characters where change brings more relevance, and that change might have popularized such characters. There are also characters that have undergone so many changes that there isn't a definitive version, like Brainiac, which was mentioned in the video that James Gunn liked. Here on the channel, I released a video a while ago talking about Crypto and the various versions he's had in comics and adaptations over the years. Crypto's also a character that's undergone so many changes to the point that this new version James Gunn brought to the film turned out really good. Is James Gunn going to create a version of Brainiac that's different from the comics? I think he has a right to do so, given the character's history. However, I feel that when he talks about the Flanderization of fans, he's not only referring to Brainiac. There's a certain frustration related to Superman, because he altered the origins of Superman's parents, and a lot of people didn't like that. Even though this has been explored in some comics or even in Smallville, fans always criticize it. There's always been people who didn't like that Superman's parents weren't good in some works. That change doesn't align well with who Superman is.
Sure, James Gunn's argument regarding the changes he made in Baldane Jor-El and Lara makes sense in the story he told, but it's something that many people don't like. It doesn't quite make sense for Superman's parents not to be good. Superman can't be ashamed of his Kryptonian origins, and Gunn made it so that Superman felt that shame. I'm not saying that's equivalent to Batman being unable to kill. I'd say that's a bit less serious, but it's still important for the character. The whole issue is that now he's linking non-essential details with something essential, which is the origin of Wonder Woman. The origin of Wonder Woman being made from clay isn't superficial. It's a fundamental aspect to the character's mythology and the message her story conveys. Wonder Woman is a feminist icon. The New 52 origin that redefined her as the daughter of Zeus, on the other hand, diluted her mythology. That doesn't mean that Wonder Woman from the New 52 is bad, but that origin has weakened the character. I understand where James Gunn is coming from, and I think filmmakers should have the freedom to create their characters in the best way they see fit within their works. However, there are characters that have very important details that are part of their essence, while others might not. The origin of Wonder Woman being made from clay isn't the same as Batman's yellow ellipse, or the all-powerful Superman who can carry an entire galaxy. Unless you can come up with something as good or even better than what's been done before, it's very dangerous to alter certain details concerning the essence of major characters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and even others in DC and Marvel. In my opinion, I think James Gunn just didn't pick a good example to support his opinion, and that doesn't mean Wonder Woman in DCU will again be the daughter of Zeus, like she was in Gal Gadot's films, nor that Batman won't have a yellow ellipse on his suit. It's still early to say that, but now I really want to know your thoughts. Do you agree with James Gunn's opinion? Do you prefer Wonder Woman's origin to be from clay? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell, because that's the only way to stay updated on everything related to DC. And if you're out of the loop on the latest news, check out this video appearing on your screen to get updated. Thanks a lot, and see y'all next time.